Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys another custom origin that I made. And yeah, let's get into it. So, wait a second. This is Mystical Origins. So, today's origin is going to be the Apollo origin. So, if I just go here, you'll see this is the origin. And yeah. So ignore these. As you can see, I got a bow called the Bow of Apollo. I'll get into that in a second. So how I got the idea for this origin is someone on my Defender origin video, commented me to make an archer origin. And Apollo is known as the Greek god of archery. So I thought this would be a great fit. And yeah, let's start off with the abilities. So you are the god of the sun, music, poetry, archery, beauty, healing, and agriculture. You are the son of Zeus and Leto, twin brother to Artemis, god of the hunt. So yeah, let's move on to the first ability, which is god of the sun. So basically what this ability does is, so if I just get myself some husk and I place them down a bit far away from each other, and now if I press my primary key, all of them get set on fire. And so this does have a 30-second cooldown, and it has quite a bit of reach. So it can go up to more than 30 blocks, so which is a long distance for one attack. And the fire lasts for about 30 seconds as well, which means it will basically kill any mob, any vanilla mob at least, from fire alone. So yeah, moving on to the next ability, God of Archery. So basically what this ability does is, if I just take this real quick, if you hold a bow in your up hand and the arrows in your right hand, and press your secondary key, actually let me just summon a couple of husks, and then just, if I press my secondary key, I rapid fire them. So as you can see, I am using the arrows, but there is a drawback to this, that you can pick up the arrows that you shot. So these arrows are basically now pretty much skeleton arrows, which you can pick up, but I feel like how fast you shoot them is good enough for that. I don't know why this guy didn't die, but yeah, I don't know. So that could come in handy. Apollo's Grace. So basically what this ability does is, if you're like around some sort of growth, like as you can see, the seeds are growing extremely fast. So basically what this ability does is, it makes it so that every 5 seconds the game's tick rate jumps up to 3,500 for just half a second. So basically it speeds up any type of growth. This can include grass. Sorry about that. This can also include grass if I can find a dirt block. As you can see, it instantly grew grass. So that's basically what this ability does, because you're the god of agriculture, so I think it makes sense. But this can be used in a lot of other ways, like redstone and all that, but it could disrupt how you play the game as well, if you're a big redstone engineer. And yeah, moving on to the next ability, the Bow of Apollo. So this is what the bow you get when you choose the original. So it has power 10, punch 5, flame, infinity. It's also an unbreakable bow, and it does 50% more attack damage. So basically this is an extremely good bow. So you only get it once when you spawn into the world or when you choose your origin with the orb of origin. And yeah. So this bow is especially made so that it can basically one-shot any mob that it hits. But some very tough mobs will survive, like the Piglin Brute or Enderman. Enderman can be shot with arrows. So I guess that doesn't count. It also does 50% more attack damage above the power 10 enchantment, which means that it's going to be doing a lot of damage. I don't know why I actually gave it power 10. It was mainly because I didn't want you guys to enchant the bow even more, to make it even stronger with power 5. So yeah. So moving on to the next ability, we have Tolerant of Fire. You basically just take half as much damage from fire. There isn't really much to explain in there. So yeah, as you can see, it seems like I'm not taking any damage, but after you stay in it for a while, it will start doing damage. So yeah, it's basically like having fire protection. So we're now going to move on to the downside of this origin. So the first downside is you're always slow. Now this is because Apollo has a very rough history as a child and as an adult. So you're just always constantly depressed. So yeah. So moving on to the next downside, which is sight of depression, sight of sadness, at least. That's what I call it. There's nothing else to call it. And so basically, whenever you're near a tree, you gain weakness, mind fatigue, slowness too. So this is because one of your past relationships, one of your past partners in your relationship actually turned into a tree, because I don't exactly know why that person turned into a tree, but I think it was something to do with a curse, maybe. So you're just constantly depressed when you go around trees. And that's probably one of the biggest weaknesses of this origin. And yeah. So the next one is Son of Zeus. Okay. So basically, undead mobs deal double damage to you. There isn't really much to explain about that. As you can see, that husk just one-shotted me. It's because I don't have any armor. Otherwise, I would survive with very little health. So yeah, another thing to say about that tree depression thing is that the effects are caused due to leaves. So if you just stand near a log, it's totally fine. But if you're within 15 blocks of a leaf, like any type of leaf except the azalea tree leaf, you're gonna get depressed. Azalea trees are totally fine. There's nothing wrong with standing near an azalea tree. So yeah, moving on to the next ability, Needful Light. So basically, we're just going to search for need. Oh, I'll now mind it. So, okay, I'm just taking a lot of hits at this point. Oh, I don't have arrows. Oh, this is bad. This is extremely bad. Okay. So yeah, Needful Light is your next downside. This downside basically makes it so that when you're not exposed to the sun, you lose 2 hearts. So yeah, as you can see, I'm having 2 less hearts, and that can get extremely bad as well. Great. Just create a weather. Okay. And it's dying constantly at this point, so I don't really care. So the final ability is that you're basically a noble warrior, so you're not going to use any weapon other than bows and swords. I think that makes sense because Apollo is mostly shown in pictures as holding a bow or a sword with a shield. So yeah, so that's what, if I can get to my chest real quick. And okay, if I can, that's what these are. So you can't use any of these to deal damage. You can't use axes, as I'm going to show you guys too. So as you can see, I'm not doing any damage. I can't throw tridents. I can't deal damage with trident. I can't use crossbows. I'm right clicking right now. So yeah, that's basically all there is to this. Yeah, and I think we're finished with the origin. So if you like this video, please consider subscribing. Leave a like, comment on what I should do next. Someone in my Cerberus video commented me to do a Gorgon. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but it's basically just Medusa. The problem with doing that is that there's already a video about it. And when I posted my Poseidon videos, one person accused me of copying when I clearly said that I was going to do a Poseidon video in my earlier video. So yeah, I don't want to deal with that. So I'm just going to not make a video about the Gorgon. So try to find something, a mythical creature that hasn't been made yet. So yeah, I'm thinking about doing something like Python. So the Python is basically a 10-headed snake that was killed by Apollo as revenge for something it did to its mother. So yeah, but I think it would be a great combination. At least I make an Apollo origin, and then the next time I made a video about the origin that was killed by Apollo. So yeah, I think that would make quite an interesting storyline. So yeah, I think I'm gonna do that. Also, please consider subscribing, leave a like, comment on what I should do next. And yeah, I'll see you guys later. Sorry if my flu bothered you guys a bit, but I'm just sorry. But please consider subscribing as well. And yeah, bye.